Hello everyone, this is Andrew, the Archon Philosopher, and welcome in, talking philosophy to the philosopher in all of us. Just going to try a new microphone today. Got a comment on the tech, and we'll try to improve that up. Anyway, the title today is Objective Reality is Impossible. And, I've been watching some videos, and I've certainly read talk about objective reality, but this is impossible. How can we have objective? What is objective? And, there's a general meaning, trying to be objective about things, which is trying to be non-biased. And ultimately, it was determined that people in ordinary conversations can never really be totally unbiased. We all have value systems. We all have psychological stances. It's impossible for us to remove ourselves, although some people are more biased and agenda-laden than others. But this is not, I think, what we're talking about with objective reality. Objective reality is a claim that there is something underlying our experience of the world and our subjective interpretation, which is our cognitive structures in our brain, the Kant's categories of thought, and then our language and everything else. In this very primordial sense, disallows us from connecting with the ultimate reality, the absolute reality, the objective reality. And so these people are postulating that our subjective experience, and what I'm going to pose as a solution is an intersubjective experience, that the subjective experience cannot achieve connection with this objective reality. Let's take a look here at some solutions throughout history of what's called monisms. And this is a claim that reality is made of one thing. So this is a non-dualist. The monists were all trying to overcome the dualisms of body and soul, matter and spirit, object and subject, matter and force, things like this. And so they proposed a number of different monisms. And I think we can look down on all these monisms and see that neutral monism is, I think, what people mean by objective reality, and a reality that is behind all these subjective and even intersubjective interpretations. So let's take a look at what this means. There were a bunch of German philosophers in the beginning of the 1800s. I think Kant sort of started this off talking about a thing in itself, some type of noumena. And we interpret the noumena as a phenomenon, but behind the things we see is something called the thing in itself. And this accords with an objective reality or an objective universe, which is behind the universe that we place our subjective criteria upon. But one's going to ask the question. Let's just ask the question. Who is this thing in itself? Who is this objective reality, objective, or a thing in itself too? Are we talking about the thing in itself thinking and confirming its own objective existence, regardless of anything else in the universe? Can things now think? Is this table in front of me thinking? Are people going to start claiming that? Or is this thing in itself just an idea that somebody has in their mind? Yes. The golden mountain of Minom. We can all have ideas, fanciful ideas about this or that. And so we're looking at confirming the existence of this objective reality, confirming the reality. Who's going to say that this objective reality is reality? Because anyone who says it is a subject. So no one can speak about this objective reality, because to speak about it is to speak as a subject. And even to confirm with someone else is intersubjective, but you're speaking ultimately as subjects. This is a problem. This is God or an evil genius guaranteeing this reality somewhere right behind what we're seeing? Who's confirming this? This is the problem. And so the term intersubjective reality is a term that I learned, and which I'm now sort of surprised everyone's not talking about. Because what we have is two or more people agreeing that they see something, that they experience something, and this is what they experience. And if you take away those subjects, if you take away all subjects, what is there? Well, there's nothing. Who's going to say there's something? No one can say that there's something. And the problem becomes that if we assume, and which we will, that there are non-human sentient creatures, and that these creatures also have cognitive structures which are maybe similar, maybe very different than humans, and that they look upon, say, this table, and they get a very, very different impression of what this table is. You know, colorblind people and color-sighted people get very different impressions on things. And so let's go even further than that they would have a very different impression. So which impression is correct if we take a look at intersubjective experience of reality? Well, they're both correct. But if they're both correct, there must be something underlying it. No. This is the situation. This is the carnivalization of reality, the give and take, the mutual back and forth of reality that I described in the procession of sentience, that both are accurate and ultimately equally valid presentations of reality. None are overwhelming the other. Each is equal. And there's nothing underlying that. There is just that for each group of sentient creatures, as it were, and for each person. It doesn't mean that there's multiple truths. Truth is something else. I'm going to do a video on it. But that there is a reality which is intersubjectively experienced, and if you take away all of those subjects, both the human sentient creatures watching things and the non-human sentient creatures watching things, then there is nothing to watch. There is nothing being watched. There is nothing. And so in the back and forth, in the carnivalization, in the parade of reality, and the spectators looking in and becoming spectators by looking in, and the parade being a parade by being spectated upon, it's this back and forth that is the constituent of what we would call reality, an intersubjectively experienced reality. And again, this whole notion of monism does not arise to the level of metaphysical, because it does not explain the answer to the question of how is it that there's something rather than nothing. And so we have to look at some other explanation if people are going to continue to use the term objective reality. How is it that this objective reality was created? Are we going to have a magical act of an uncaused event, of a big bang, which now people are trying to kick the can down the road and say, well, it's this great emptiness expanding, giving energy for the big bang, or it's a gravitational singularity. But we know, we can just ask, how is it that there's this gravitational singularity versus no gravitational singularity, and so on. This is just kicking the can down the road. But right now, I think we should focus on getting rid of this term, objective reality. There is no one to guarantee this objective reality. It has no existence. It has no reality. We should understand that the best way of thinking about our situation is intersubjectively. We may subjectively hallucinate, but if everyone's sharing the same illusion, then that illusion is reality. Anyway, this is going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll hopefully be back with some more. Until then, remember that once we know where we are, we will know what to do, and we will know who we are. Thank you. Thanks for supporting this channel.